going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Small Town Horror with Johnny and Randy. And of course, I'm Johnny.
And I'm Randy.
And we are finally at the end of the Conjuring universe. We are at the Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Technically, we're not at the end because we're going to have to do 4 next year.
Yes, apparently they are doing the final Conjuring film. I don't know if it's coming out next summer or when it's coming out, but
when it comes out, we'll be there.
And I'm hoping it's got a better title than The Devil Made Me Do It. But with that being said, I've really enjoyed going through the Conjuring universe. What about you?
I have. Not to go deep into it, but it's ending on a less than stellar note for me. But it's been probably one of the best series that we've done.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That I've loved so far.
Yeah, definitely. To me, the Conjuring universe, I feel like, brought back that suspenseful horror.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it made you to where you didn't know what was coming around the corner, and it actually gave you chills. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't seen films like this in a while.
It didn't do shock scares.
Right.
It was soul clutching.
Right.
This is gonna chill you to your bones type of scares.
Exactly.
So,
but as always, please give us a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Check us out on all of our media. Our Instagram.
We got them everywhere.
Yeah, our Instagram is smalltownhorror Johnny_Randy.
Step X. Johnny got tired of it.
Yeah, no longer on X. Facebook is Small Town Horror with Johnny and Randy. And Randy's favorite, TikTok.
Tickety-tocky.
Our name is Small Town Horror Podcast. So
get us anywhere you get your podcast. You can go to Google Podcast. You can go to Apple Podcast. You can go to Spotify.
iTunes.
Anywhere. Breaker. Anywhere. Joe Smoke down the street that can hack into the system. You can get it there too, I bet. I promise you.
And please, if you like what we're doing on YouTube or on the podcast, wherever, please leave us a rating. We don't care if it's a 5-star rating all the way down to a 1. I mean, we would like to have a 5-star rating.
We care.
But we'd like to hear from you guys and gals who enjoy the podcast. And whether you've just discovered us on YouTube or you've been listening to us since 2020, since we've started.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it has. It's been that long.
I feel old.
And time goes by too quick.
It does. See what COVID does to you?
Yeah. Pretty much if it wasn't for COVID, I don't think me and Randy would have ever got this going. We were stuck in the house and being like, man, what can we do to pass the time?
He was like, hey, you want to do this movie with me? And I was like, sure. And it was only supposed to be a one-time thing. And then he was like, hey, what are we doing next?
Yeah. So.
But we want your reviews.
Yes.
But I personally, on my side of it, I'd rather get more suggestions.
Yes.
Because I want to see stuff that you guys have seen that I've never seen. The one suggestion that we've gotten 2. Mm-hmm. 2 good ones. Or I say good ones. Yellow Brick Road.
Yes.
Turned out to be, I mean, I think I liked it more than you did.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great a movie that we carried. And then The Descent.
Is that what that was?
I think it's
no,
Tesla. Shout out to my ex-coworker Tesla, my girl.
Yeah, I don't think it was The Descent, but it's, I don't know, it was where they went under the ground and it was all handheld camera. And,
yeah, I don't remember what the name of it was.
Well, that just shows you
how we really felt.
Yeah. But maybe
anyway.
you can pick a better one out for us. So if you're watching this video or listening on the podcast, go to any of our social media or just leave a comment on the podcast or on YouTube and say, hey, I would love to hear you guys talk about this. Recommend us a film. And not only do we do, like I said, horror genre, but we even do like thrillers,
suspense.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And eventually we're going to get into some comedy movies on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. We're going to try to widen our audience on the YouTube channel. So
I just want to give my opinion on Robin Hood Men in Tights. It's the greatest comedy movie ever made.
And you want to talk about Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello! Yeah, I do. I really do.
So.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. See, and this is what's funny because me and Randy, we differ on so much stuff. And like.
I have good.
Okay, so Randy, your favorite comedy movie of all time. Tell the audience.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
And mine is Dumb and Dumber.
And see, Dumb and Dumber is like 2 or 3 for me.
That's what I'm saying. So we're not far off.
No, it's just.
But now, what is your greatest trilogy? No, seriously, I'm not making fun.
Of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings.
Mine is Back to the Future. We just totally are opposite, I guess. But you like Back to the Future.
I do. I do like the movie. Honestly, I don't know if I've seen 3. I knew he was going to do that.
This guy right here, he hasn't even seen Bill and Ted Part 2 or 3 because the first one was so good. He was like, oh, I'm afraid they're going to ruin it. And it's just like...
I mean, sequels are hardly ever good.
But you can't say that because you just literally said you like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but that's a good series.
Anyway. So let's get off that.
It's a whole nother fight.
Yeah. So,
woo-hoo!
But as always, check us out. Like I said, leave a response. And Randy.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to actually get into the episode?
Man, let's get to it.
Then why don't you hit us up with that summary?
Man, I got your summary. A chilling story of terror, murder, and unknown evil that shocked even experienced real-life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. One of the most sensational cases from their files. It starts with a fight for the soul of a young boy, then takes them beyond anything they have ever seen before, to mark the first time in U.S. history that a murder suspect would claim demonic possession as a defense. Da-da-dum.
Dun-dun-dun.
Da-dum.
You know that opening I will say that opening was a great opening to this film. Like, I feel like the opening was probably the most horrific and scary part of the film, in my opinion.
With the little boy?
Yeah.
That was...
I mean, it was like, right off the bat, I feel like they come out swinging, but they didn't hit they didn't hit a home run.
Yeah.
But I wish that when they were trying to get the boy's soul back, I would love to see Danny DeVito pop out and be like, you gotta pay the troll toll to get in this boy's hole. You gotta pay the troll toll to get in.
It only makes sense if you've ever watched
Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sunny in Philadelphia.
You want this baby's boy's soul, you gotta pay the troll toll.
Look, Danny DeVito has done some great work.
I love Danny DeVito.
I don't know about, what was his name? Frank?
Yeah, Frank Reynolds, man.
I don't know about Frank.
Well,
now, except when they buried his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And they were over her grave. That was hilarious. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So, to shout out to all the Sunny Philadelphia fans that got that joke.
I've never watched it. I've only seen clips of what he showed me. And I've laughed at all of them, so I don't know why I haven't watched it.
Just like Bob's Burgers, man. I love Bob's Burgers.
It's the turkey episode and then the Easter eggs. That's the two.
So far, I will say, out of all the Conjuring films, I don't know. I feel like the first two, in my opinion, were...
Now, you're talking about the Conjuring 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Not the...
Yeah.
Years
and I know we're not doing the review right now, but I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The first two were more scary, and to me, it dealt more of the paranormal aspect, where I don't know why they shied away from it on this one. You know what I'm saying?
And not to get too deep into it, this is the only movie that did not feel like a Conjuring movie.
And it's like they stuck Ed and Lorraine in it. But it was based around the true events.
Yeah.
But you could tell it was really Hollywood up.
And
James Wan wasn't the director either.
I can tell. I really can. And honestly, I can tell because I didn't notice the shots.
Well, there was only one that I noticed, and I'll let you know here in a minute.
But this one did not feel like a Conjuring movie to me.
Right.
This one felt like more like a suspenseful thriller than it did a supernatural horror.
Right.
And there were parts in it that were freaky.
Yeah.
Like the little boy on the table doing, the bending the backwards and all that kind of stuff. But then you had moments like in the morgue when the dead body got up and became a zombie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't feel Conjuring.
No, it doesn't.
It
doesn't fit.
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, not that it didn't fit the movie. It didn't fit, for me, what I envisioned the Conjuring.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
But it was less about the supernatural side and more about the occult side.
Right.
And I don't know how much of those you could tie together. But, I mean, Demon was involved. So, I mean, there's the I guess, supernatural side of it.
Right.
But this is the first time that they've ever had a villain in the movie. That any of the Conjuring movies.
Right.
And I think that's what made it feel less of a Conjuring movie.
Exactly.
Because the villain's always been something unseen.
Right.
There's never been a, hey, we've got a bad guy we got to beat.
Right.
Thing, you know.
Right. Well, all right, man. Let's get into it. So, first off, I've got to say that this film right here, I remember now why I only watched it once.
Yep.
And that's saying a lot. Because I like the entire Conjuring universe. But the one thing that I never got is the Nun movies, both 1 and 2, got so much hate and so much distaste of, oh, the films aren't scary, they're not good. But then people really like this one.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, and I know we're kind of already going into a review, but my issue with the film is that we've never had a killer that they've had to go after.
There have been people possessed who have killed.
Yeah.
But there's never been a puppet master.
Yeah, there's an actual villain in the film.
Yeah.
And
I mean, because you can look at the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about them moving into this house and this spirit of this dead witch.
Yes.
That wants parents to kill their children, mainly mothers.
Right.
There's a villain.
Right.
But it's a spirit. It's not a, oh, this person can go to jail type thing.
Right.
In the second one,
mm-hmm.
you have a villain. It's not who it turns out to be in the old man, but it's actually the demon pulling his strings.
Right.
And it was
Valak.
Valak, yeah. It was Valak. So in Conjuring 1 and 2, the villains were supernatural.
Exactly.
The villain in this one was human.
Right.
It takes away from the Conjuring set.
Right.
To me.
And that's the thing is, we know with any Hollywood movie, like even The Conjuring, the first and second one, yes, there's a lot of realism to it. Like, I mean, you can look at certain photographs from the original family and what happened, and you can hear documents or you can read documents and you can hear audio tapes and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're watching the first two, I don't know about you, but I know in my mind, I'm like, man, this is crazy. This really happened to this family. Man, this family really went through it.
Yeah.
Watching this one, it felt so Hollywood.
It did.
And it felt that this was a horror movie that they wanted to release, and they were like, hey, we should throw Ed and Lorraine in this.
Yeah, I don't know the story behind this movie.
Right.
But I wonder how much Hollywood this movie actually is based off the old story. Like the original story.
Well, it's like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Ed and Lorraine are 100% truthful on everything that went down or whatever. Yeah. I'm sure they seen some crap.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I don't believe the whole, I'm going to go to a morgue and grab a dead woman's hand and seeing visions like that. And then the big dead body that had already been dead for a while and was blown up.
Yeah.
I'm like you. As soon as I seen that, I was like, this isn't The Conjuring.
And it did, and the body did the zombie twitches.
Yeah.
You know how it did just like the little jerk.
Right, right.
And I don't know, man. It bums me out. It really does. Because I love 1 and 2
mm-hmm.
in that setting, in those movies. But I can tell, for one, I could tell right away, like, that there was something in the production that was different.
Right.
I could tell that. I had no idea that James Wan had nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah.
Until you just told me that.
Yeah.
Like, literally, had no clue. But I could tell while I was watching the movie that something was different.
Oh, yeah.
And that just speaks to his prowess
mm-hmm.
as a was it producer, I guess?
Director.
That just goes to show you his skill as a director. When you can watch a movie that you have no idea he's not a part of and tell that something is different.
And that's where you know you have a really good director.
Oh, yeah.
There's films that you've watched. Okay, Halloween, The Fog, and The Thing.
Yeah.
All three of those movies, you're like, yeah, you can definitely tell John Carpenter
directed
directed
John Carpenter, hands down.
Tim Burton.
Clearly, mainly because his wife's in every one of
them. Quentin Tarantino, stuff like that. Rob Zombie, I'll throw him out there.
No.
But
See, and for me, it's like James Cameron. You can always tell James Cameron.
Right.
Peter Jackson. You can always tell the Peter Jackson movie.
But James Wan, his name is so famous now with the horror genre that if I see a trailer and it's like directed by James Wan or written by James Wan, then you know, oh, it's gonna be good halftime.
What's the guy, the blood dude from Evil Dead?
The blood guy from Evil Dead.
Yeah, the guy that always wants the blood splatter.
Oh, Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi. You can always. I can't tell you any more movies than what we've watched of Sam Raimi, but I know if I see blood, Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
That's his little stick.
Oh yeah, definitely. But no, like I said, and it's not that the film is, bad. I will say that it's not. Yeah. It's just it doesn't fit almost. It's almost like the Curse of La Llorona.
La Llorona, yeah.
What is it?
La Llorona.
La Llorona. The only thing that tied that was the Annabelle scene.
And the priest, yeah.
Well, I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
And the only thing that tied this one was the Ed and Lorraine. But
and Father Gordon. And Father Gordon.
Right. But I do feel like, once again, Ed and Lorraine, the real live actors, their chemistry was great on screen again.
Oh, yeah.
Them two just, man, they play off each other so good. And I will say, that's why I'm happy that they are doing a fourth Conjuring, because I do feel like the universe ended on a sour note with this one.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's not even actually the universe, because the Nun 2 come out after this and stuff, but the Conjuring films.
I know you won't agree with me on this, but I would love to see a romance movie with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga in it playing. Yeah. See, they just I know if you're on Spotify you can't see it, but on YouTube you can see Johnny's face. You know how he feels about romance movies. But it's not, again, like you said, not saying that this is a bad movie.
Right.
And I'm not going to put it on the level that I put Halloween 3 on, as it doesn't belong in this universe.
Right.
But it's not, when I think of The Conjuring, this is not what pops in my head. It's not a big bad guy that everybody's working to get rid of.
Right.
I mean, it is, but it's a spiritual thing. It's not physical.
Right.
You could have ended this movie in 5 seconds if you would have just stabbed this woman in the heart.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that in 1 and 2.
Right.
But yeah, and it's not just that. James Wan not being there. I can tell because none of the shots, none of the camera work stuck out to me in this one.
Right.
None of it. There may have been one scene when Arnie kills his boss.
Yeah.
When he walks in there and his boss is, what he sees is attacking his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And then they run through the corridor with all the dog cages and stuff like that. That room goes dark, everything is silent, and then he comes running out like a demon.
Yeah.
That felt Conjuring to me.
The only shot that I seen that I was like, that reminds me of the original Conjuring, is when it does introduce Arnie and his girlfriend, and they're going through the house with all the dogs. Mm-hmm. And it's just a one shot. The 80s music's playing in the background, and the camera's slowly going.
It's like the drone shot.
Yes. Yeah. They had that in the original Conjuring.
Yeah, and, I can see that. And they did it in 2 too, I believe.
Yeah, I think they did.
Following the family around the house.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that, but man, I think we just need to go ahead and get in the scale.
Yeah, I think we've already done it. We just ain't give the ratings.
Right. So,
what
it's time for the pulling scale.
The pulling scale?
The pulling scale.
The pulling scale.
Pulling
scale.
There you go. You want to go first on it?
I'll let you go first.
Okay.
So I can just copy off of you and be done.
Halloween 3 is a lot better than this movie. I love Season of the Witch, so...
This is the last podcast I'm ever going to be on now.
He hates Halloween 3. I love Halloween 3.
Passion that burns purple.
Anyway.
Stupid. Doesn't belong in it. Fight me on it. I don't care.
Honestly, other than the actors, I don't feel like this is a really fits in the Conjuring universe. It's not one that I dread to watch. I'll put it that way. Like, if I'm going to binge watch the Conjuring universe, all of them, I will watch this one. But
this would be one that you wouldn't pause when you go to the bathroom.
Right. This would be just like Annabelle Comes Home.
Background noise. Yeah.
Annabelle Comes Home is the same one.
Yeah.
Same way, I mean. But I do think the acting was good in it. So I'm not going to take away from the actors.
Yeah.
I
thought Arnie did a good job as...
Yeah, and if y'all go back and watch this, look at the guy that played Arnie. I think he could play a young Dexter Morgan. Seriously, I do. I think he could play a young Dexter Morgan.
He just reminded me of Bill Skarsgård, man. I don't know what it was. It's just, I guess, the slender frame.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But the music didn't stick out to me at all.
Until the very end.
And really the only thing in this movie that made me go, now that's cool, was when Lorraine is running at the end and she's down in the basement or the tunnels and she trips and falls and herself is in front of herself. And when she's on her hands and knees, so when she grabs a flashlight, the person in front of her grabs a flashlight, and when she backs up, it backs. I thought that was a unique shot.
Yeah, it was cool.
But I mean, in all honesty, acting was good. Music didn't stand out. So I'm going positives, negatives. Yeah. Man, I didn't care for the main villain.
It's hard to find something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, that shot right there, I think, okay, here's the thing. I love the opening to The Conjuring 2 when they're in the Amity house. Mm-hmm. It's still my favorite opening of the Conjuring films, but this one I thought really it hit the track running. Like, I mean, if you watch the opening, you're like, holy cow, this is going to be good. And then it just, from there, to me, it feels like it's the Titanic. It just slowly starts going down.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion. So, I'm going to give this a thumbs in the middle. If you've seen the Conjuring films, yeah, I mean, you got to watch it. I mean, it's just one of the things where it's just continuing characters that I feel like everybody enjoys, Ed and Lorraine Lorne. And I will say one thing, I do love how every film, they always make sure the house looks the same. They always have the same family, you know, Ed, Lorraine, and their daughter.
I'm convinced they just have that house set to the side and be like, we only use this for this movie.
But that's what I'm saying, but they never make it where, because I hate sequels where the houses are different or something. It just totally takes me out of it. Yeah. But anyway, thumbs in the middle. I'll say if stream it. That's what I have to say.
Don't buy it, stream it.
Yeah. Unless you're just a collector like I am. And I'm going to give this movie, I'll give it a solid C.
Okay. Well, it's pretty much, I said I was going to copy you. I ain't trying to copy you. But it's pretty much the same because...
Here we go. I'll just play.
I mean, the actors didn't have an issue with the actors. Right. I can't pick any one actor. Even the fact that I didn't like the villain, I thought she did a good job as the villain. Because it was that occultist type feel to her. So I don't think she did a bad job in her role. I just don't like the fact that she had that role. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Patrick and Vera, amazing. Awesome job, as always. I thought the little boy did a really good job, David.
At the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I thought it did a really great job. And I thought Arnie's character was really good.
Yeah.
He played it really well. There wasn't anything in this movie. I did like the beginning. It didn't stand out to me like the other ones did or like it did for you. Other than the fact that the little boy at the beginning when they were twisting them backwards and stuff, that was creepy. And there were scenes in this movie where I would watch and I'm like, ugh. Like, oh, crap, you know? And it would kind of little shock me, but it wasn't anything that really drew me into the movie.
Right.
I'm a story guy. This had a story. I didn't care for this story in this universe. It's different to have a movie that doesn't really follow a story, or it doesn't really develop a story well. And it's different when you take a story and put it into a movie that doesn't fit.
Right.
Because yes, there was possession, there was exorcism, but it was different. It was human made. It wasn't spiritual.
Right.
This one was brought on by totems placed under people's houses.
Right.
Not entities attaching to themselves to things or people. It wasn't Conjuring. That's just all there is to it. I'm gonna judge it as a Conjuring movie.
Well, yeah.
And I'm not gonna say that if this movie had been just called The Devil Made Me Do It, like I was with Halloween.
You mean Season of the Witch?
Yes, exactly. Stupid. I'm not gonna say that. And I can't really say don't watch it because 4 hasn't come out yet. And how much of 4 is gonna be connected to this one.
Right.
So I'm gonna give it a thumbs in the middle. I'm gonna say the only time you should watch this movie is if you're watching all 4 of the Conjurings when the next one comes out, back to back to back. Don't skip it, because I'm gonna say don't skip it now. Come back to me next year when 4 comes out, and I'll tell you whether or not you skip it. If you're gonna watch the entire universe, watch it.
Right.
But make sure you take your bathroom breaks between Annabelle Comes Home or Annabelle.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, Annabelle Comes Home and this one. Those are your bathroom breaks. Just remember. So thumbs in the middle, one time watch. If you collect the entire universe, or if you collect all the Conjurings, you might as well throw it in there. If anything, it'll just look weird on the shelf. And I'm actually gonna give it a C-.
Okay.
Because it sucks, and I hate that we have to wait a whole nother year to hope for a better ending to The Conjuring.
Yeah.
I hate that. I dang you for making me watch this movie. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad enough to bring my entire feelings about the Conjuring universe down.
Right.
Because I still think this is probably one of the greatest franchises in horror right now.
There you go.
I really do.
All right. Well, that is our review of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And I believe next Thursday, is Halloween.
Dun-dun-dun.
And every year we do, around Halloween time, of course, we do the Halloween films. And then on Friday 13th, we do Friday 13th films.
We can't skip Halloween this year because we skipped Friday 13th.
Yep.
So
I think me and Randy decided that next week we're going to be releasing a new episode, and we're actually going to be discussing the 1998, cannot believe it's been that long, Halloween H2O. One of my personal favorites, as a matter of fact.
It's one of the better ones.
Yeah. So, Randy still hasn't seen all the Halloween movies, so. But
I refuse to watch Resurrection again.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
But with that being said, we don't really have anything else planned for the rest of the year. So if you guys and gals would like to give us a suggestion on what you would like to hear us review, please let us know.
Let us know, because we don't know what we're doing yet.
Yeah.
We got a couple of ideas, maybe we'll throw in a couple of black and whites for you.
Maybe.
I came across one that I thought never even thought about doing before, but it's listed as a supernatural horror, so
there we go. As always, remember to stay scared,
stay spooky.